guys, this is Lachette from Scarlet Moon Creations, and I'm back with a new favorites video. Very late September favorites. This tea is currently my favorite because it's making me feel better. Please excuse any throat clearing because I'm a little under the weather. But let's just jump right into my favorite forms of self-care this month. So first and foremost, biggest, Camp Anime again this year. Camp Anime is an event that I volunteer at, and I've done it for 4 years now, I believe, and it's exactly what's on the tin. It's a anime convention on YMCA campground. So the events that are occurring during the convention are like talks and things regarding various anime, what's popular now, and the offshoots of being a fan of anime, like cosplay and acting and that kind of stuff. But there's also camp things, like there's a camp dance, or you can go swimming in the lake. There's things like flag football, I think it is, or whatever, archery and wall climbing, just lots of stuff. It's a weekend long event, and I volunteer to help do whatever needs doing, usually in the technical sense, setting up audio-visual stuff for people, helping them out if they don't know how to use it. And I also volunteer as a den mother. There are quite a lot of underage kids that attend the events, not like really, really young, but young-ish, just under 18. And not always can parents attend, so Camp Anime has come up with is the den parents thing, and for a certain amount of kids in a cabin there will be 2 den parents, and yeah, we kind of make sure the kids enjoy themselves while still taking care of themselves. If you've ever attended a fan convention, because I don't know how much career conventions, I don't know if they have as much of a history of lots of attendees getting overexcited, and you get sick, people forget to eat or drink water, emotions are running high because just everyone's so excited. If something goes wrong, it's, you know, the biggest issue in the world. And like I said, these are I'm a den parent to teenagers, so it's just kind of dealing with those situations, and then, you know, the things that come up with teenagers in general, like dealing with their identities, whether it's what they want to do with their lives once they've graduated high school, who are they going to be, what's their purpose, or stuff like gender identity, sexual identity, that kind of thing. And it's, you know, making sure they eat, they go to the meals, or if they don't go to the meals, they go to the boathouse to get something in between meals, making sure they're drinking lots of water, helping them, sometimes with their costumes and things like that, just so everything stays as much on an even keel as possible. And at Camp Anime for the past 2 years, there's been a Japanese festival. I should just say a festival, but and there are, you know, the usual festival games, or at least the usual American festival games, like skee ball and knocking over pins and making craft stuff. But I and 2 others as witches set up a fortune teller tent, and we do free readings, so for the duration of the festival. So that's always interesting and fun. It's a way to practice uh, reading in between doing it professionally. There's, I guess, less pressure for me and less pressure for the readers. A lot of these people, because it's not just kids that attend this, but a lot of these people, this is their first experience with a card reading, whether it's tarot, oracle, and wow, the sun is like doing its thing. Now I'm glowing. Um, and it's a lot of work, but it is super rewarding. I am always grateful for the opportunity to be able to help in any way. I enjoy it, whether it's, lugging around audiovisual equipment or it's, helping someone with their cosplay wig, or having a chat with some of my den kids and making sure that they're okay after maybe they didn't win a contest or something. Um, Doing the readings for everyone and running the bonfire, making sure everyone gets to participate or tell scary stories, and everything is as fair and as comfortable as it can be. And I can't wait for next year. So, it's exhausting. I'm always tired afterwards, as with working any event, but it's a good exhaustion. Like, I did good work. That's how it feels. Like, I accomplished what I set out to do, and it's fulfilling. So, that happened. Camp Anime this year was actually over the weekend of the autumn equinox, so that was kind of the harvest time for me. Next, if my tablet will show me, next, Pure Field Healing on Instagram. I did a challenge, the Powerfully Unconditioned, that's what it's called. I'm gonna set it backwards. And there were basically 15 prompts, questions, and the first 5 were about cultural conditioning and seeing how you can adjust to that. And then the next 5 were about family conditioning and how you adjust to that. And identifying how you've been conditioned is hard. Using my cards made it a bit easier, and I just really appreciated finding this challenge. I've done other challenges this year, run by Pure Field Healing on Instagram, and they just always have an effect. And I appreciate that she does like only 15 prompts, so you're not scrambling to do something every single day. You have a little bit of time, more time to think about the cards you've pulled and what you've written down and how it makes you feel. I was able to put into words some really important or deep conditioning, and I enjoyed especially the questions about what do your spirit guides say you should do. And my spirit guides are often like, "Go get it together," but in a amusing, loving, fond way. There's no negative talk, but like, you could do better. You could do better. They are like friends, and I appreciated that. But in addition to the challenges that Pure Healing does on Instagram, she also has these powerful quotes or sayings, mostly from her own thoughts, is what I'm going for here. And I'm always just like, I gotta think about that. That's on point. that is definitely on point. And I've been copying stuff that I've seen other people say that resonate with me, and Pure Field Healing has been resonating so strongly this year. I am grateful to have found her on Instagram and her practice on her website, so do check her out. Next, also on Instagram, Annabel Wind. Wow. I mean, I shouldn't just say only on Instagram. I followed her on Instagram because I saw her on YouTube, and then looked at her website, which I had been to in previous years, but I forgot existed. And first of all, she's just so calming when she speaks and what she does. It's relaxing to listen to her, and I guess I kind of hope that I have that a similar type of effect on my followers. And there's kind of like joy in listening to what she has to say. And she's definitely imparting the wisdom of her years and her practice, which is not the same as my own, but there are things you can draw from. I particularly enjoy her posts and pictures, videos about her grimoire, her magical book, and how she sees writing in it and drawing in it as a spiritual practice in and of itself, or in a meditative practice. And that is, I'm like on the cornerstone of that. That's how I see certain things like painting, watercolor painting, doing art, writing, and that kind of thing. I mentioned this in my journaling video, that it can be very meditative, calming, relaxing, great for just before bed. But the added thought that it's putting your knowledge on paper, being a spiritual practice, is something I was aware of, but it also kind of marries into the idea of, if I'm doing this intentionally, then I'll be less likely to put it off or put it aside. So I really appreciate that. But Annabel Wind is also, I think it's revealed, or it's definitely revealed, but I think it's on sale now. Oh, sorry, very stuffy. Her new tarot deck. It is gorgeous. Her artwork is gorgeous, and so that definitely translated well into her deck. I only seen a couple of pictures on Instagram. I might, I know she's done an unboxing video, and I still need to see that. I'll link that in the description down below. But, yeah, definitely check out Annabel Wind. She is a spiritual maven, in my opinion, and just the way she imparts her knowledge is something that I am open to always. Okay, so next on my list is also on Instagram, the Witchy Stuff. I came across one of their posts because I follow, I think, the witch hashtag. I don't know. Anyway, and it was cute and it drew my eye. I think I've mentioned this before, but every once in a while I just like to take a break and just look at pretty things. It makes me feel good, and often those pretty things are just artwork of random artists that I come across, and occasionally photography. So the Witchy Stuff has a Patreon, which I am a member of. No, I'm not a member of their Patreon, but of Patreon in general. And they do like digital artwork that is witchy. And the first post I came across was, I think, various potion bottles, and I was thinking about like drawing and doodling them, and so that was an inspiration to me. And like they do infographics for recipes, and the Wheel of the Year holidays for I think Wiccan witches, though others do follow similar Wheels of the Years. Uh, and it's just beautiful to look at. They are very talented. I think they put out a zine as well. So definitely check them out on Instagram and on Patreon. On Patreon, you can support them at various levels. So, and get rewards in return. Now, ooh, it is fall, and that means it's getting cooler. The air is getting drier, less and less humidity as we get closer and closer to winter. And as it gets colder, I live here in New York City, and we have that dry heat from the radiators. And at this point, I had to switch over my skincare and hair care from drying stuff to moisturizing. And the essentials for that are body butters, because as a woman of color, my skin gets drier, easier, and needs heavier, thicker moisturizers, so body butters. And for my hair, water is the main moisturizer, so like drink lots of water always in all seasons. But to help it along, because it's now too cold to just like wash and go, I use like a spray bottle with water and leave-in conditioner and castor oil, but also some essential oils. So for the summertime, I usually have tea tree in there because it kills a lot of any bacteria in between washings, and it's a little bit drying. So, sweat, it deals with that, and anything that might come from it, keeping my scalp clean. But now I'm switching things up. So these 3 essential oils are examples. This one is lavender, and here we have rose. Whoop. Get it to, there we go. Rose and chamomile. All essential to my skincare and hair care. So I put these are all moisturizing for your skin. I have like combination skin, so that's why I can switch a lot. And but do check against your own skin. As always, do a little patch test in a carrier oil first, and on a small part of your skin, to just make sure you're not sensitive or allergic. And these have saved my hair, keeping it bouncy and moisturized and not dry like straw. And my skin, keeping it bright and fresh and clean, and well, when I use the stuff that I'm supposed to. But so yeah, those are my favorite essential oils for September. It's a big switch over because of the season and that physical self-care. And speaking of essential oils, back to Instagram. The Mindfulness Mia, fairly new on Instagram, she started a challenge called There's an Oil for That. And I wanted to go back to my early practice of working with essential oils to see how they make me feel emotionally, because essential oils have therapeutic properties. And so I did this challenge. I didn't do every single prompt because they don't all apply to me, but you can see my post on Instagram. Essential oils are an essential part of Scarlet Moon Creations and products. Um, uh, they not only have like physical and medical properties, they also have therapeutic, emotional properties. Scent is very tightly tied with our emotions, and so do check out that challenge. I thought it was a brilliant one. I liked seeing what other people's posts are, even though I do not subscribe or buy from Young Living. It was helpful and fun to participate in. And lastly, my favorite tarot deck. So, I've been using this, my Toth Tarot. Guys, I don't know how to pronounce this. Is it Toth or Tooth? I don't know which O sound to use. So, this tarot deck I've been using a lot. I picked it out, I think, mid-August, or towards the end of August. And here's the box. It's a well-known tarot deck made by Aleister Crowley and painted by Lady Frida Harris. And it uses a lot of correspondences, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Correspondences with the Kabbalah and Greek and Egyptian mythology and numerology, as well as astrology and a tiny bit of psychology, I believe. So it's very symbolic. And some might say it's a bit more in depth than the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith tarot. I think it is for certain cards, and the meanings are similar, even if they're not the same. But this deck used to intimidate me. I've had it for a while and I didn't use it because I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do with this. These are not symbols that I think I find in my everyday. But a year or two ago, I came back to it, I picked it up, and it seemed less intimidating, less scary. And it is. What I found, especially when using this for the weekly self-care readings I do on Instagram, it has been a little more mysterious, and I've definitely done more looking up of the symbolism with this deck than I have with other decks in the past, but it was pretty straightforward. Once you get the hang of the symbolism, I am not new to the Kabbalah or numerology or astrology, so it was definitely fun to be able to pick out those elements on my own while reading. But yeah, it's a great deck. I don't think it's a favorite of clients. I think maybe they are intimidated, or maybe not intimidated, but it confuses them. Like, wow, what is this? What is this supposed to symbolize? Some clients look at the cards when you draw them and they're like, oh, that looks like that, or whatever that means to them. And that's okay. I don't mind that because the reading is for them. If they can draw something from it, then I am all for that. This deck is just, I'm happy to be closer to it, to be more in tune with this deck and what it has to say. It's not a mystery, it's not scary, it just is. So that was my favorite deck for September. And that's it. That is all I have to say about my favorite methods of self-care during the month of September 2018. Let me know if you've used any of these essential oils that I mentioned. If you follow any of the people I talked about. If you're interested in Camp Anime, link in the description down below. I've linked everybody, everything I talked about in this video in a blog post below. It's just easier to see. That's why I do that. And let me know what you think about the Thoth Tarot. What do you think? Have you used it? From the images I showed you just now, if you don't read your own tarot, how does it vibe with you? Just from the computer screen real quick. So yeah, I will talk to you guys very soon about my October favorites. And thanks as always for watching. Bye.